What could I possess a man? For turn a K-47 pan a young woman.
You're not like anyone else. You find the way you are. Did you do this all yourself? A smile ignites the room. Sending us up to the time, you know it's cartel. Representing for Blessydgazadiva.
Of the yard to send I go to Neverland. Me have a question. When I have the woman, the wanna do. Can you hear me? Good.
Hey peeps, it's your girl Blessydgazadiva and welcome back to the Blessydgazadiva channel. So you know that Baby Cham took to Instagram last night and he made this post on the government and that the government was not taking responsibility and looking at 4 main causes of crime in the country. A number of people, let's say 80% based on what I'm seeing in the comment section, agreed, and another 20% disagreed. And for some reason, I think that 20% kind of went over Instagram, or another set of 20% went over Instagram, because you know the minority likes to act up when they're not getting their voices heard because they want to get their voices heard. So they act up. Anyhow, Bounty Killer, you know, as usual, as I said, Baby Cham is a part of Bounty Killer's tutelage. So more than likely, he would have reposted the video. And just as I thought, he did. So Bounty Killer reposted the video and this is what he said. Full attention, please. He tagged Baby Cham and he tagged Andrew Holness and said, addresses Prime Minister Holness.
Government for no I can do. You see it looking to me eyes, did I tell you no?
Now I dropped that Baby Cham in the front of this video because the government needs to know that it is far greater than artists. If the artists were being listened to, if their songs were being lauded, placed on a pedestal, even in parliament, I see a number of, if the government thinks dancehall, and if you notice, dancehall is always the genre that's being attacked. It's never reggae. It's always dancehall. And Bob Marley sang, I Shot the Sheriff. So clearly, this is not a musical thing. It is a dancehall thing. Now, I threw that in there. And if the government thinks so highly of the artist, why don't you, as the TVJ man said to him yesterday, why don't you think, Mr. Government, that you need to bring them together? You notice his response to the reporter when the reporter asked, so what is your role in this, Mr. Prime Minister? And the Prime Minister said, to be talking like how I'm talking. So that gave credence and gave me full comprehension that Andrew Holness's administration, it's all about highfalutin, big words, sounding articulate and sounding intelligent, but he doesn't really care about the people. If that is your response to that very question, then the reporter alluded to. So don't you think you should have a meeting with them, Mr. Prime Minister? And what was his retort? He immediately responded with, well, maybe if they'll come, I don't know if they'll cuss and say that they're not going to forward out. Well, thanks to Baby Cham. He has told them right now, if you can quantify, if you can speak and show that these numbers that you are attributing or these actual responsibilities that you're laying at our feet stems from the music that you claim to be the #1 poisoner, because that's literally what the government is saying, then we will run for parliament. And I don't believe that I should be doing your job. But anyway, as I was saying, when Baby Cham took to Instagram yesterday, it was refreshing to hear an artist articulate themselves. And as you can hear in his song, he's a smart, shrewd young man who's always denounced violence against women, violence against children, and violence against the elderly. So this is nothing new. This song is like, I don't even know if I was walking at the time when this song came out, but it is a very, very, very powerful, potent song. Why the government don't use some of these songs? Let's collate all of the songs that the artists, Vybz Kartel, Baby Cham, Bounty Killer, even the Poor People Fed Up song, put them all together. Put them all together and play them in our parks. Play them all over the place. Since you have so much of a problem, don't you have a social responsibility, Mr. Prime Minister Andrew Holness? I said it's your crime already. And you are going to own it and you are going to retain it. It is your crime and you need to fix it. Give us the opportunity, set up the standards, set up the methodologies, set up the strategies, and the people of the country will fall in line. You may not have everybody, but you will have the majority. So fix your crime and stop blaming the artist. So anyway, what I wanted to look at today is as I said, there are 20% of people who disagreed with what Baby Cham had to say and a few people who agreed with what he had to say. So a number of them took to his page. So, people are always going to they never find the good in the things that we do. They tend to find the bad always. So if you notice, if you look at my video compared to all the other videos that you saw on YouTube, you notice what I did? I blocked out the word lawless, and I knew what I was doing strategically because I didn't want people to be lost in the message. And I understand how people's minds are. No matter how smart you think you are, a number of their minds are fickle. So I intentionally blocked out lawless on the hat, blocked out lawless on the shirt. But of course, I knew it was going to be of a concern, and here we are. Somebody wrote it. Somebody wrote, "What does lawless means?" And someone responded with, the irony of it all. So Baby Cham then responded, "The music industry has their rules, law, which they try to force upon persons, some of which I'm not in agreement with. As such, I'm lawless. So when I say I'm lawless, I'm not speaking to or making reference to the law of any land in which you live. Do not get warped or trapped into definitions that may limit your ability to think outside the box. Learn to live and think lawless." People, I couldn't have said it better myself. And as I say to you, a number of people get lost in the meaning of things. They never focus on the message. Look at that strong, potent, sensible, articulate, pragmatic video that was made yesterday. Everything from the start of the video, how he was composed, how he calmed himself and articulated himself as a dancehall artist. You have to give him kudos for that. And the first thing somebody was going to look at, which is why I said I blocked it out, is what is the definition of lawless. And this is what you go over to the man page and write. Second thing is when you look at some people's comments about him reading from a teleprompter or reading from something, he was actually reading from a paper, and nothing's wrong with that, because when you put your thoughts on paper, it causes you most of the time to retain a steady, balanced conversation, and point for point, tit for tat, what you're going to say. At the end of the video, you could see that nothing was fabricated in what he was saying. He is naturally articulate and naturally smart. So clearly, this is not somebody who wrote it for him, because anybody can take up a paper and read it and not make sense of it. But you can see that this man is naturally articulate and sensible. Anyhow, people, I don't want people to be lost in what was said, as I personally think this is one of the best videos we've seen from an artist in a very long time, and we need to applaud him and we need to laud him. The government needs to understand that if you want or point fingers and start blaming another genre or blaming something else in society, look at the man in the mirror. Andrew Holness, look at yourself in the mirror. That's where it begins, because you are pointing fingers all over the place, or you're trying to detract people from the core of the issues in society, which begins at the leadership level. And again, your leadership is poor. Whether you want to accept it or whether your followers want to accept it, your leadership has been poor. And a classic example of proving that your leadership is poor is the fact that you have decided to blame a genre in music. Don't you see what this has done before? Don't you see your predecessors before? Stop blaming the music. You are more to enable and foster an environment where the artist can forward out and join you in the cause to help fight crime. Anyway, people, tell me your thoughts down below in the comment section. Tell me what the person said to Baby Cham, if you thought his response was on point, and tell me what Bontekila said about if you thought his response was on point. And as per usual, we'll have a discussion down below in the comment section. If you've not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit the notification bell. And if you've not yet smashed the like button on this video, smash the like button and send this out. I'm out.
We have talk to man and understand not how we are to make people time for one show.
Can you hear me? Good.